Hello everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to do another Q&A session. You may have noticed that this video looks a lot better. Yes, it does, and that's because I've just picked up a new Logitech BRIO 4K webcam, and it looks a lot cooler. I've got my lights on, studio lighting on, and things look much better. So yeah, massive thank you to my supporters on Patreon, because it's because of those guys that I can do things like that. That's the whole point of that. It means that I can take that money every month and use it on better camera equipment, video editing software, or plugins for video editing software, microphones, lighting and things like that. And my videos have looked a ton better in the last 5 months. So huge thank you to those guys out there. If you are watching this and you think it looks better, but you think I could still improve it, any ways to improve the shots, then please do let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Though do not tell me to remove the hat. You do not want to see what's under the hat. It's terrible. You have been warned. So today's question is one that I've been asked more than any other question in my career. And that is, Levi, how much do you charge for transcriptions? It's actually a simple question with a simple answer that I'm going to make more complicated by talking for almost 10 minutes, I'm sure. So there are lots of ways that people can charge for work like that. Some guys charge an hourly rate, some guys charge by the bar, and other guys, like myself, charge by the minute of recording. I don't charge an hourly rate for lots of reasons. The reason I don't charge an hourly rate is because, well, the first one being I don't want to have to look at every single email I get about transcription work and have to guesstimate how long it's going to take me to do it. And I can't bear the thought of guesstimating and being wrong and then needing to go back to the client and say to them, I'm really sorry, but it's actually going to take me 2 hours longer, so you need to pay me more money. I don't like that at all. So I don't do it for that reason. But also, I kind of look at hourly rates and go, hang on a minute. So the better you are at your job, the less money you get paid. This guy over here that is half as fast as me will make twice as much money as me. That seems a bit crazy. And obviously you can get around that by putting your prices up, but you just get to silly numbers for the same information. Not for me, not my way of doing things. So I don't like that as a method. I also don't charge by the bar, and the reason I don't do that is because music is different. All music is different. If you listen to a gypsy jazz piece of music at 320 BPM, there might be 300 bars, and you could listen to a piece of music that's the same length in terms of time as the gypsy jazz piece, but it might only have 40 bars, and because it's in 12/8 at 40 BPM. And I can absolutely, as a transcriber, I can absolutely assure you that of those two jobs, the one I want is the gypsy one, because the slow Stevie Ray Vaughan blues stuff is really hard to write out and get it perfect. Because the slower the tempo, the more he tended to play, and he floats with a beat, and it sounds awesome. But it's my nightmare having to write stuff out like that, and I do have to write stuff out like that all the time, and it's hard work. So it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes I'm going to be laughing all the way to the bank if I do things like that, and other times I'm going to be crying into a beer. But for the most part, I feel like you're laughing all the way to the bank, so that I don't do things that way. The way I've always done things, and the way I always will do things, is to charge by the minute of recording. The reason I do that is because it means the client can price everything up for themselves, which is wonderful. I get so many requests that I can just tell people, I've got a copy and paste email, I send it to them with how my rates work and how you calculate things, and yeah, they work it out based on that. So they might say to me, oh, well, there's this 8-minute song. I don't really want to be spending hundreds of pounds, understandably, but I could really do with some help learning the intro solo, maybe the intro riff, the bridge, and the guitar solo. And the time codes for that are the start until 1 minute 15, then 2 minutes 20 until 3 minutes 15, and then 5 minutes until 6 minutes 16. Whatever the time codes happen to be. I can then look at that and go, okay, well, you've got about 2.5, 3 minutes of music there, and then just multiply that by my standard rate and take it from there. Now, of course, that's where things become a little bit sticky. Standard rate. My standard rate is £20, so £20 per minute of recording, but that can go down. In fact, it has been known to go down quite often if the work is easy. If it's someone like Eric Clapton, 1.5 minutes of Eric Clapton is going to be a lot easier to transcribe than 1.5 minutes of Greg Howe. So we can bring things down there and, you know, be reasonable with these things. And from time to time I have actually had to go a little bit above that £20 mark for guys like Sean Lane and Alan Holdsworth, because that takes a lot of time. But very, very rarely does that happen. So that's a ballpark idea. And the reason I decided to do this and actually tell people, aside from constantly being asked, is that I always felt it was poor taste to talk about it. But actually what I've learned and what I'm pleasantly surprised by is the amount of people that come to me to ask about transcriptions and are shocked by how much I charge. Pleasantly surprised, should I say, not just horrified, because obviously people come to me expecting me to transcribe a 5-minute song and they want to pay £5 for it. You know, I can't do that, unfortunately. But other people will come to me and they'll ask me for a quote on something, and then I'll give them the figure and they'll go, "Are you sure? Oh, I've been using this guy and his would have been over double that." What can I say? I'm good at what I do. I'm fast at what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. Yeah, and I appreciate that you value my time enough to pay me what I'm asking, let alone being willing to pay more. So it seemed like it didn't hurt to explain that kind of thing, because you might have been watching my videos over the years and thought, man, that's something that I could really use, but probably way too expensive for me. And to be fair, I am probably way too expensive for most people. But for commercially released products, or if you've just got some money kicking around and you want something unique and one of a kind, then yeah, it's certainly something that I took advantage of when I was younger. I used to order custom transcriptions from people. Got that out eventually. Yeah, so the last question, the last part of this question, I get asked this not as much, but I have been asked this many times over the years. It's like an extension on the last question, and that's, do you have a list of all of your transcriptions that I can look at and then buy things from? And the answer, I wish it was yes, but the answer is no, I don't. And that's for silly reasons. It's because I didn't foresee my transcription business being my main source of income when I started transcribing. I just transcribed things, wrote the name of the song and put it in a folder. And that folder grew and grew and grew, and then I got a new computer, so I retired that folder on an old hard drive, and new computer and a new folder, and it just grew and grew and grew. I'm looking at a folder on my computer now. This may be my third folder, I think. There's just over 900 transcriptions in this folder. I should have organised them. I mean, to be fair, like if I do 10 or more songs of a particular artist, I will then put all of those in a folder so I can find them easier. Like guys like Greg Howe or Scotty Anderson, those guys, you know, they have folders. Richie Kotzen, guys that do come up time and time again. But for the most part, yeah, you'd think it's a big part of my business. It's just not. It just doesn't happen very often. People don't ask for things that I've already done. It's quite an interesting business in that respect. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be awesome if people were just constantly asking me to give them things that I've already done. But, and this is the potentially interesting part, that's quite a shady thing to do. Like, transcription is already, it floats in murky waters legally and ethically as well. You can only copyright a piece of music once. So when I transcribe a piece of music by somebody, they own that transcription. It's not mine. So to many people, myself included, I totally agree with this and see this. Selling a transcription of someone else's work is kind of akin to me taking this Bumblefoot CD and copying it onto CD and then selling that CD. It's not cool. So the reason I can sort of ethically get around that, at least in my own mind, is if I went for a guitar lesson with someone, I said I'd really like to learn this Brent Mason song or whatever, the teacher would never turn around and go, well, I'm really sorry, I can't teach that to you because I don't own the copyright on it. I mean, I can show you how to play it, but I certainly can't write the tab out for you, because that's a bit ludicrous, isn't it? So yeah, that's kind of how I get around that with the initial jobs. For repeat orders, yeah, things are really murky there. And especially when you consider a job that I've done for someone, they might have paid £100 for it. It's a lot of money. I can't just then give that to someone for £5 because that's ludicrous. It's massively disrespectful to the original client, and it's leaving me open to all sorts of bother if those transcriptions then get out in the open. So I don't do that. I will do repeat orders, but I just treat it like a Skype lesson. So if you were to come to me and say, I'd like to learn this song, I won't pretend that I've not done it and then do it all again and then charge you £100 or whatever for it. No, I'm not going to do things like that. I'm just going to be honest and be like, well, I've actually already done that, so good news, I can save some time, you can save some money. We'll just bill it as a Skype lesson, and I will give you the tab, and if you turn up for a Skype lesson, wonderful, but I probably won't. Yeah, so that's the way I've always done that. And I guess that answers that question. So, one last thank you, awesome Patreon people. These guys all support me at a $10 tier. Massively appreciative of that, because as you can see, it's helping to improve videos, and that is the whole point. If you would like to join that awesome list of people, you can for $10. Or you can head on over to my Patreon and join up for as little as $1. Gets you access to our private patron-only Facebook group. Lots of cool, fun stuff going on in there. Transcription challenges, and I'm in there constantly trying to help people out and annoy people because I'm annoying. It's true. But it is a good group of people, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And yeah, hopefully I'll catch some of you in there. You can do so by clicking that button up there. Subscribe to my channel by clicking this little button down here. You can check out 2 more of my videos there and there. As always, thank you so much for all of the support, the video watching, the comments, the likes and all of that stuff. Even the dislikes, it all helps. I'm going to keep making videos because I enjoy doing it, and if you don't enjoy me making videos, I'm still going to keep making them because it's fun.